Mogaji.
Farm School with African farmer Mogaji. Do you know you can make money with less capital while you go about your 9-to-5 or business? Are you considering retiring into the world of agribusiness? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, then join us on Farm School with African farmer Mogaji as he unveils some hidden secrets, uncover common mistakes, and harness the potentials of the agriculture value chain. Farm School with African farmer Mogaji every Thursday at 10:15 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. He'll expose you to the intricacies of the agribusiness and how you can tap into the benefits of the agriculture value chain. Thursdays, 10:15 a.m. on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Farm School with African farmer Mogaji. It's time to farm and grow rich.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM station you're on to, and I want to say welcome to Farm School with African farmer Mogaji. It's the 30th day in the month of May 2024, and I hope that you are good. Well, it's a Thursday morning, so I'd like to say good morning to you, and hope your day is going well. Well, this morning we have African farmer Mogaji in the building and in the studio to teach us all we need to learn about agriculture and how to stay profitable while doing agriculture the right way. So yes, today we are going to be talking about a sensitive topic, which is of course tomato. Of course, we know that tomato is very important, crucial, right, in our everyday working activity in terms of feeding. So yes, today's topic is going to be significant, and today's topic is going to be about profitable tomato business. That's the topic for today. Profitable tomato business. So you want to stick around and, of course, get your pen, your paper, and learn with African farmer Mogaji. It's on this wise that I say welcome once again to Farm School on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. My name is Riri Lulua Shiwabedu. Good morning. So, like I said, the topic at hand is profitable tomato business, and that's what we will be talking about today. But first, I would like to, of course, greet African farmer Mogaji. Good morning.
Good morning, Riri. How are you today?
I'm very good, and you?
Trying to be fine.
Why so? Why so?
Yes, because some things that could have been averted is happening, and so it's kind of affecting me to say maybe I could have done more.
More.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is well. All right then. Well, today I want to talk about a topic at hand, which is profitable tomato business. That's the topic. So I would like to ask. We know tomato is very expensive now at this crucial time. So why is tomato that expensive?
Okay, so tomato is not expensive yet.
Oh, yet.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. It's on the way to being expensive.
Gathering momentum.
Yes. So I did recall in February and also in March on this program and many national television, I did warn aggressively that if we did not take some decisions at government level and private sector levels, that a basket of tomatoes will averagely range between 80,000 to 120,000. And I made all efforts, and I saw quite a lot of prominent decision makers at various levels. But unfortunately, it was handled with kid gloves, and now the average basket is 150,000, and it's still not expensive yet. Yes, when I was warning, that was before March. That was before the heat in March, and so the heat in March, the effects of the heat in March, we'll see it in July. Not in June. Not in June, in July, and now there's also a pest challenge. So what we're saying is, and Salah is around the corner. And so by the time it gets to Salah, I hope a basket would not be, I don't want to go there now. But I just, it's a bit painful for me to see that I tried. Looking back now, I won't say I've done my best, because I could have taken it a bit further. And if I took that responsibility beyond just talking about it, maybe now I can say I did my best. So I'm also taking responsibility that I did not push, really hard to say it's my business. And so we're going to face it for a while, all through June. Ideally, tomatoes should be coming from Oyo State, some areas in Oyo State where we are praying that, it comes out well towards the end of June. If it does, yes. If it doesn't, we're in for it. The varieties there of low, the good thing about this agric is it's dynamic and fluid. So the varieties, let me even mention it, from Ogbomoso. So if somebody wants to go and buy, towards the end of June, because this would move into July, Ogbomoso, there's this Odoba, in Ogbomoso, basically. The tomatoes they produce is low quality. Okay. And because it's low quality, it adapts a lot to bad climate. So it can withstand, or let me use the word, tolerate high heat and excess rain. So, but it's not premium tomato, it's not good quality. But when tomato is expensive, tomato is tomato. So we hope that comes out well, end of June to July. If not, this is not looking good. And after the tomatoes gradually goes with tatashe. So the tatashe also would really go high by mid of June. So for me is, this could have been averted. But, what has happened has happened. And so I'm also looking at how we will protect or avert October, November. Because there's another October, end of September, October, November, waiting for more crops. Now it's tomatoes and peppers, then it will be a lot more. And so I want to actually push a bit more beyond just talking and waiting. And let me say this, because I like to take responsibility for my actions a lot. I think where I missed it was I was focusing on federal. For us to do it at the federal, so that at all states. And I preach region, but I got passionate about federal. And so right now, I was going in high and forgot the low-hanging fruits. One particular state, I don't want to mention names now, I went to the commissioner, and the commissioner said, I'll give you this land, do it. But I'm like, no, this is going to be a national issue. So I said, okay, fine, but I didn't take that. If I took that in the Southwest, whatever we produce from 50 acres, would still have cushioned this. So, what has gone wrong has gone wrong. Yeah. We have end of September, October, and November to work towards, and that's achievable.
All right, then we'll take a pause to that, and of course bring your shipping position. Once we return after shipping position, of course Farm School continues in a moment.
This is Shipping Position, brought to you by Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM.
This is Shipping Position. 6 ships loading with petroleum products, container, and others are expected at the Lagos Port Complex today. The Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, made this known in its publication, Shipping Position. The publication said that 4 of the ships contain bulk urea, crude oil, and Jet A1. NPA reports that 2 motor tankers are waiting to berth with crude oil and jet oil. And that's all for Shipping Position. Thanks for listening. Thamp School continues in a moment.
You've just listened to Shipping Position, brought to you by Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM.
This is Farm School with African farmer Mogaji on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. For partnership or further information, please call 0809 700 0222. That is 0809 700 0222. You can also reach out to him on all social media platforms at African Farmer M. Keep listening to African Farmer Mogaji on Farm School. Farm School. Let's farm and grow rich.
All right, welcome back from that break. Still Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, and of course the program you're on to is still Farm School. With African Farmer Mogaji. Let's quickly go to the road. So let's look at what we have for those around the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Currently, Opik in Otedola is said to be good, calm and collected. The return journey from Otedola back to Opik is good, and traffic managers are doing the needful. Also, Obagumusi Road in and out is absolutely good from Sherulowura into Wemco. Also, Wemco into Latif Jakande Road isn't bad either. We have it very good. However, please drive carefully and stay safe. If you're also around the Ojota corridor, Maryland to be precise, Maryland into Ojota bus stop is good. Ojota interchange as well into New Garage, very good as well. There's no impediment recorded within that zone. And if you're coming from Eco Bridge into Maryland, of course, you will enjoy calm and very good movement. However, as much as you're enjoying a good movement out there, please take it easy, drive safely, be careful, and please obey all traffic rules and regulations as you journey through. So we want to talk about, we're still talking about a very sensitive topic. And of course, African Farmer Mogaji has been informing us on how expensive tomatoes has been. And will be. So, no, you spoke about, the last word you mentioned before we went on Shipping Position, you were about to tell us how we can avert this issue coming in October, November. Yes. So I'd like to know how is it possible to be, for the situation to be averted to start with?
It can be averted, and also it can be managed. Yeah. If we put on the cap of scenario planning, where we look at all the variables that may happen, it can be averted. But if we can avert it because of climate change, we don't have control over that, then we bring the scenario B, how to manage it. And that management has to do a lot with a relationship, a marriage between government and private sector.
Okay.
That I've not seen over the years, and I'm still not seeing now. The private sector feels it's government's issue until it becomes their issue when they can afford the food. So one of the things that needs to happen is we need to have governments come out to say these lands are available, this security is available here. If you want to go into production, this is what we've done in this location. So people can deploy resources there, and not mostly individuals, but talk to associations, talk to cooperatives. Those are the people that can take advantage and avert this. Government projects cannot avert this because M&E becomes a challenge because of the short window of things, So government can supervise, but not be the one championing it. So they can supervise and monitor. Okay, to say this is a design, plug into this, but not interventions. It has to be private sector that is leveraging, and government to negotiate a percentage of what you produce is sold back to us, which is, is it Produce for Lagos initiative now can spring into this kind of operations, because the rains this year has been different. It's not been stable.
Yeah. Yes.
And because it's not been stable, and this has been happening in the last 4 years, and gradually climaxing. This is how the drought in California started. I was in California, funded by the U.S. government, to observe in 2014 the drought, and they had a 5-year drought.
Wow.
So 5-year drought. Many farmers lost a lot of resources. I went to a place where the farmer had 100,000 acres and could not cultivate 30,000, and they were rationing water, just like you have they operate the basins, river basins, like you have in the north. So I saw a lot happen, and the trajectory had started in the last 5 years. What's going to happen already? There's prediction from NIMED that there's going to be a lot of rainfall. And so what's going to happen now is we're going to have a lot of rainfall at a particular period. That's going to devastate a lot of farms. But you can plant upland. Upland means a higher plane. Let me just try and speak plain English. Higher plane, higher altitudes. But the seeds now matter. You have to be deliberate in looking for seeds that can withstand heavy rainfall. And after that heavy rainfall is going to become a break. So the seeds must be able to withstand heavy rainfall and also tolerate drought. That's going to be a challenge. So why is beans expensive? I know we're talking about tomatoes, but let me chip in beans. Why is beans expensive? Because last year, the rainfall extended to late in the year, and beans does not like that kind of rainfall. Okay, so if we have it, and so when the beans is developing pods and you have rains extending, it affects the crop and it goes bad. So this year again, with this rain pattern, we're likely to see that. But this can be averted also if we're getting the right varieties out, and most importantly, plan for 2025. Very crucial. You plan for 2025 in 2024 now. So as it is, the likes of dry corn, the likes of let me stay with tomato. So what's going to happen? Tomato does not like a lot of water. Okay, so when we have that heavy rainfall, you should be looking for, if you're planning to go into production, you should be looking for sandy soils. Okay. And sandy soils on elevated plains. So that elevated plains, so that the water can run off and the water can run through, because it's sandy. Now the yields may not be as good as flat plains with rich soils, but because the rich plains that should give you premium. Let's say if you're supposed to get like 25 tons for 2.5 acres, which is 15 plots of land, you may be getting like 15. Okay, but that 15 in the market, the prices will still go high. So it's still a good outing. So you must understand your soils if you want to produce now, this year of 2024. Soils texture is very crucial. And beyond that, when you're checking for your seeds also is very expensive this year. But I've said it earlier in the year, it's a producer's year. It's a producer's year. 2024, 2025, part of 2026, it's a producer's year, because there's no processor will survive if there's no input. consumers would have issues if there's no input, and input is the raw material, what is produced. So it's a producer's year. Let me use the word, it's a farmer's year. Now, there are challenges along the way, that we need to avoid. So somebody may be saying the herdsman issue is still real. It's still real, but it's not everywhere. Okay, it can be managed. It's not everywhere. So don't let us blow it out. Okay, insecurity, it's not everywhere also. And there are models. I've not seen the rural farmers kidnapped. No, I'm serious. You see the polished urban people investing in agri, kidnapped. Any form of kidnapping, is not condoned. But when there are challenges, there are also opportunities to avert those challenges. So if you work with the rural farmers, they don't kidnap them because they know they can't pay any ransom. So it's high time we begin to rejig our business models based on the realities that we have today. So the reality is, if you show up, you might look attractive to them. But if you put a model together that works with the farmers, they won't, kidnap them. So all these challenges are real, but at the same time, there are also models. There's no problem that does not have a solution. In my area, we've been going 1 day off, 2 days on because of the transformer. And it's over a year now. But suddenly, overnight, transformer appeared. Okay, so everybody is celebrating on the street. What am I saying with that? The challenge may stay for a long time. It may look like there's no end in view, but problem starts one day, it must end one day. Okay, so let's stay focused, let's stay positive. There is no challenge that cannot be turned around as an opportunity. I'm not saying theories. I've witnessed this over and over and over, and I'm still witnessing some now. But hope, let me use the word, renewed hope. So you need to be able to leverage seed, leverage the soils, then understand the markets now. The markets are changing.
It's dynamic.
It's dynamic. You may find out that instead of bringing your tomatoes to Lagos, you may be better off selling 2 markets away from where you are producing, or 3 markets. So take, for instance, if you're producing, let's use Lagos now. If you're producing like in Itoiki, which is an intersection between going to Ikorodu and going to Ekpe, I would prefer to go the route of Ekpe to sell, because from Ekpe it gets to Aja, VI, and Co, than to go to Mile 12. Because more final consumers and premium consumers are on that route. Okay? Or go and position around the Dangote factories where people can buy and move on. Okay? So apart from going to the Mile 12. So you need to look at the markets now. Okay, I am an impact and profit person, not profit and impact person. It's always impact and profit. So I would look at selling cheaper than market price and also extremely profitable. That's me. It may not be any other person. If you're looking at profits, fine. Anyhow, now producers would make a lot of money. Now, in all this also, I always talk about farming by revelation. So I always put that clause there, because in Nigeria, we're spiritual people. And spiritual to say that if your heart is saying do this, or this is how you should do it, please follow that. Because that's where we lose money. I can tell you that because I have trailer loads of experience where you have a nudging in your heart to say, this is how you should do it. And you say, no, experience says this. Or this is how I want to do it. It gives you a lot of trouble. But if that's not your case, please go ahead, look for the markets and leverage. And also try to empower some youths. Because as you expand, as you do well, you would need the youths to help you sustain the business. You can do it to a point, and after that, develop a model around them where they make some money, you know, in the process. So in this value chain of tomatoes, and when we say tomatoes, it's not just farming. It's a value chain. Every time we talk about agriculture, if you say tomato, corn, cassava, is a value chain. Seeds is a major value chain for this year, next year, where you can buy and resell. Okay, agric inputs, fertilizers, crop protection, insecticides, and co. These are very crucial conversation. Logistics is the biggest. Logistics is the biggest. You must be able to, sometimes going to a very far big market may not be as economically viable as selling at a smaller market because of logistics now, the price of diesel. Okay, so it's very, very crucial that you look at logistics. And I always say this, look at the logistics available in the environment. So some environments have pickups, some have 18-passenger buses, some have big trucks. When you're growing tomatoes, the first one that comes out is not so much. It's maybe 2% of the whole farm. Okay, and you harvest every five days. Okay, as the case may be, if they do a thorough job, 5 days. If they don't do a thorough job, like 4 days. Okay, so if that is the case, that let's say you have 10 acres, and it's just like 2 or 3% that would mature, then you know the first one you can dispose. The second one will not also be that much. From the third one, it begins to go high. So you have to look at the market where you want to sell, the logistics available. So you may decide to increase the size of your farm or reduce the size of your farm. This is crucial. This singular fact makes people lose money when you don't look at the logistics readily available. Not available, readily available. Logistics cripples hopes when it comes to fresh produce, especially likes of tomatoes, peppers, and co. So you must look at the market. And also, when you're looking at the operations, we are looking at protecting the crops, like for the insecticides, and everything you use must be systemic. Systemic in the sense that it stays in the crop. Okay, systemic lasts longer because this year we're going to have prolonged rains. You know, we can have 5 days, 4 days. If you don't have something systemic that stays on the crop for a number of days, if you're not able to spray, you will battle a lot of pests and diseases. However, so before somebody says, hey, you're letting chemicals in our crops, yes, there is a timeline for the chemicals to stay in the crop. And that is how it is. Name anything you want to use, even organic or inorganic. You know, it stays in the crop for a required time, an ideal time. So you have one, some it stays there for 3 days. Some stays there for 14 days. Some stay there for 21 days. It is the abuse that is not acceptable, not the usage. So if you are to be harvesting your tomatoes, maybe 5 days, you should not use any chemical that stays in the crop for 7 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. If you're harvesting in 4 days, you should be using 3 days. So it's acceptable. Okay, so it's the abuse. Many people don't read the instructions on the container. They just say it's effective. But it's effective, but may have another effect on people. You know, so bottom line is use good chemicals, premium quality. The premium quality chemicals have inputs in them that don't affect people if you use at the right time. Okay, so it's very crucial we pay attention to that. And during rainy season like this, where we're likely to have a bit of excess rain, it may be good to use fertilizers that is absorbed through the leaves as against through the soil. Through the soil, it can be washed away. Through the leaves, it's like taking injection and taking capsule.
Oh, wow.
If you use it in the morning and sometime in the evening, before 7, between that 5:30 to 7, if you use it before the sun comes out in the morning, the leaves are open, so it absorbs through the leaves in. So it's like getting injection as against taking capsule. Taking capsule takes a long time. If you put any fertilizer in the soil, it takes about 7 to 14 days before the crops actually utilize it. But if you put it in the leaves, it's like 3 days. So you should be looking at putting fertilizers, organic or inorganic, into the crop through the leaves. It's very crucial so that it would work faster, especially when you don't know how the rains will be.
Wow, I've learned a lot. But then we still have a few minutes. You can call in. If you have questions to ask African Farmer Mogaji is right here to answer your questions. So please put your calls through using the number 0809 912 0777. Again, the number to connect with this morning and sharing your in asking your questions, of course, pertaining to what we have discussed or previous topics that has been discussed before. Please put your call through using the number 0809 912 0777. You can also use the number 0915 387 7127. That is 0915 387 7127. Again, for those on Obaragunusi Road, that's within Ojutberja, do not forget, Sheralura down to Wemco is good, in and out, and Wemco into Latif Jakande Road, quite appreciable. If you're also coming from locations like Opik into Otedala, we have it good there. The return journey is also quite steady as we speak. So let's quickly wrap up this. But my last question will be for an individual who plans to, I mean, he has noted all this that you have said, and then still plans to, go into tomato farming. What advice, what's the best advice you would give to such an individual who plans or intends to start a tomato business?
I would say don't do it now. Wait till like August to start your nursery. The September, October, that's 60 days. Most of the varieties now mature in 60 days, but you'll begin to harvest. At least 60 days, you will get 1 or 2 ripe ones, and it will move to December. So you need to use, there are some organic, we call it crop enhancers, that help the crops develop wider roots and deeper roots. So when the dry season is coming, when the rain is stopping, the water under the ground, they can still tap because the roots would have gone really deep in it. So calculate it such that it's coming around October, November. And if you have lands not too far from water, that is natural, you can start in September. So in December, you will have this. But December also, tomatoes will be a bit expensive because of the floods. The floods affect all the river basins. So mostly in the north. So the time to plant in the north will be delayed a bit. That's what affects the Christmas. So it's a rural farmer that would use the pumps that would work. So, having said that, this year we want to reach out to quite a lot of the governor's wives, political leaders' wives, religious leaders' wives, and wife of the president. Such that the women need to take hold of this food business thing now. The men don't see it, and they don't mean any harm. That's the truth. They don't mean any harm. Our leaders don't mean any harm, but they don't see it. So it's the women that understand this thing. So we need more women to step up now to say, this is it. But we need more women with influence, political. Governors' wives can do the job. Business leaders can do the job. We have more bank MDs that are women now that can decide to say they all have a CSR, corporate social responsibility department. They can say, let's pilot something because they understand this food business. So we'll be reaching out to many of them to say we can take this. Nigeria doesn't have to go through all this crisis again. In 6 months from mid-June, we can change the narrative for the year. If we don't get that done, November again, we'll come back. But I hope this time, we won't come back. We'll come back to give good results.
Amen. And just before we go, you want to give us your handle?
Okay. At social media, it's at African Farmer M. You can call 0809 7222. 0809 7222.
All right, and it's on this voice that we say a billion thanks to everyone who has participated in this program one way or the other. To, of course, our executive producer, Taya Akonli, thank you very much. To the Deputy Director of Programs Department, Victor Terry, thank you as well. And to Delia Gadumo, thank you as well. My name is Riri Lolua Shinwabiodun. We'll see you again next time, same station. That will be next week at 11 Thursday at 10:15 a.m. to 11 a.m. Till then, please have a fantastic day. Riri Lolua Shin is my name. And of course, as we say our goodbyes, please do not forget to partner with us. And of course, if you also want to sponsor us, go right ahead as you listen to this message.